What's poppin', internet? Welcome to another episode of the Synced Up Podcast, the show where we talk about news, games, and sandwich a little fun in between. Although we're still looking for new fun to sandwich in between there.
That's true. We need more fun.
Exactly. I'm one of your hosts, Timothy DeRoe, and joining me this week, back at it again, back from the dead, Michael Clare. Came back, recovered from the COVID, Mike.
Big and strong.
How do you feel about recovering from the COVID?
Never been better.
Never been better?
Can't breathe, though.
Yeah, I know. Can any of us really nowadays?
Nope. The air's polluted.
I sure can't breathe.
Stop cutting the trees.
What? 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 Okay, this week we're going to talk about AOC on Twitch, Stadia Creative Director having some seriously hot, flaming hot
garbage
takes, and new images from the Uncharted movie set.
Not garbage.
Looking kind of nice. But before we get into that, I got a little bit of housekeeping for you. We are on YouTube, so if you are in your favorite podcasting feed and you want to put some faces to some voices, you can find us at youtube.com/synceduppodcast. Find us there. We got all new kinds of content coming down the pipeline that we're talking about right now. So get excited there. And also, if you're on YouTube and you hate seeing us, you can find us in your favorite podcasting service just by searching Synced Up Podcast and looking for the blue and white logo with the game controller on it. Also, new episodes go into both of those feeds at 7 a.m. Central Time Zone. Gang. You can also write into the show at synceduppod@gmail.com if you want to have your questions, comments, or concerns read on the show like Kylie Arter did this week. We will go through that later. You can also follow us on Twitter at synceduppod to keep up to date with all of our videos, content, anything that we do. Chance, thanks for holding it down and running that for us over there. Also, if you didn't know, Michael Clare went live today streaming some Pokemon Crown Tundra. And
Yes,
we only had a few viewers, but hey, we love those few
Hey,
viewers.
man.
One of those viewers was me. But
10 followers by the end of it.
10 followers, we respect that. So Mike's going to be trying to stream a little bit more. We don't have a schedule right now, but he's going to try to do that. And you can go over there, Claire Bear, that's CLERCBEAR on Twitch, and he'll be streaming some stuff over there. We might stream on a synced up Twitch.
Yeah, we do have a synced up Twitch.
We might do some stuff there. We're thinking maybe some horror games. We're thinking some other stuff. Obviously, when the new consoles come out, there'll be some stuff to do there. We'll figure it out. But let's get right into it. If you want to start us off, Mike, here with AOC.
Yes, sir. Right into the news. AOC had her debut on Twitch, and it was one of the biggest ever. And she's genuinely pretty good at Among Us. This is from Jacob Castronakes.
Gosh. I could see it as Castronakes.
I feel it's Nakes at The Verge. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a Democrat from New York, made her Twitch debut tonight to play Among Us and encourage viewers to vote. She also very quickly became one of the platform's biggest broadcasters. Her stream peaked at 435,000 viewers. And around at the time of this article was written, which was about 2 hours after she had started, she was around 350,000 viewers, which is okay.
That's pretty good. Okay.
I mean, you've seen my numbers. I get up there. That peak viewership puts her broadcast among the 20 biggest streams ever. And according to third-party metric sites such as Twitch Tracker, and it's much higher if you're only looking at broadcasts from individual streamers. Ninja holds the record for an individual streamer with more than 600,000 viewers during a Fortnite match with Drake in 2018.
Drake?
That was a big deal. I think that really solidified Twitch and live streaming as like
the serious thing that people are taking serious.
Twitch Tracker's metrics suggest that AOC stream could be in top 10 for an individual in terms of peak viewers, which is crazy because you made her account that day.
She did.
You know, for like Ninja, it was a combination of Ninja and Drake.
Yeah.
But it was literally just AOC. And so that was pretty cool. Politicians have increasingly been using tech and games to get out their message. The Biden campaign debuted in Animal Crossing Island last week. That was on Kind of Funny.
It was.
That was pretty cool.
They got to reveal that. That was tight. Shout out to
them.
them.
Then last year, Senator Bernie Sanders joined Twitch to reach a potentially supportive audience that we may not be hitting other ways. AOC's stream came together quickly. She tweeted Monday asking anyone want to play Among Us with me on Twitch to get out the vote. And major streamers quickly signed up. She ended up being joined by Representative Ilhan Omar, who is a Democrat from Minnesota. Pokimane, Hassan Abi, the Sky's Toast, Dr. Lubo, and more. And a house favorite, Gus Johnson, got in there at the very end. Then you get to play 1 or 2 games. Her stream even had graphics prepared, which AOC said came from supporters who started making art after she tweeted. Yep. Which is cool that all that got put together in
like
a couple
days. Yeah.
So, I think the funniest thing I saw on there was we've talked about it before with you know how the army has been using Twitch as a resource for
and
reaching
it was
out.
Like it was her viewers at like 350K and then right below it was like army at like 40.
Yeah.
That
so
shit was funny.
it gave me a good chuckle. I think it was very cool. Did you ever end up watching any of it?
No, I haven't. I still haven't watched any yet. I want to go back and watch the VODs. I watched some like highlight videos and stuff because there was some pretty funny things that happened.
Yeah,
she's like, Pokey, I can't kill Pokey. She's so nice, and then stabs her right in the back.
There's a lot of really good moments.
The ones with that Maya or whatever her name is, where she's like super excited just to be able to be playing with them, and then every time AOC kills her, she's like, AOC killed me, AOC killed me, AOC killed me.
It was really cool,
wholesome and fun.
They caught on pretty quick on how to play.
Yeah.
It was a cool experience.
It was a cool experience, and to take it on to a more serious note, I think it's actually quite cool and I think important that politicians and stuff start to use this new age shit to really push the vote like AOC is doing here, and like Bernie Sanders did back in the day. And obviously, you could argue that the younger voter populace is obviously the voter base that votes the least, which is why I think it's actually more important to do things like this to normalize politicians to really take AOC, because just this happening, even though I didn't watch the stream itself, you really start to relate to them on a personal level, and they start to feel more like a person and less like a politician, which is all these people. Because someone like Greg Miller, for an example, I've only met Greg Miller once, right? And I took some pictures with him, and I've only exchanged words with him just a little bit. But I would consider Greg Miller like a friend, right? That's like his whole mantra. Like, it feels that way, because of how much I watch him and listen to his content. Like, I haven't missed a single thing in like 3 years. And so someone like that, even though they are this public figure that I've only met once, that lives super far away, I can feel more of a connection to them through these things. And I think for politicians, if they want to get the younger voter base to vote on things, which I think is important with how technology has gone, and how personally I think there should be an age limit on when you can be voted in, but that's not what we're here to talk about. I think it's important that they do these things to really get this young voter base to get in there, to be like,
it's all about normalizing.
Yeah, like it's AOC, she plays Among Us. That's cool.
We can talk about these politicians and actually like be able to relate to them in some way. And so I think it's a very good thing.
And also, when you think about it, I don't even know if a Trump rally's done this numbers like this. So that really makes you start to think, like, is going the Twitch route worth it more for someone who's running for president, or what I'm saying? Instead of, because you can, for much cheaper, reach a much larger audience. Yeah. All over the place.
I don't know. I don't think you use it as a campaign tool necessarily, because that's not what AOC was using it for. She was using it as a campaign to bring voter awareness.
Yeah.
But if like Joe Biden had his own stream going, I don't think he'd have the same kind of vibe to it. And there's some genuineness that needs to come from the person who's doing it.
That's true.
That's why seeing someone like, one of the presidential candidates or some of these older guys trying to attempt something like this is not going to feel as genuine.
Yeah, that's true.
AOC, like, that she's done this before. She's silver in League, better than I was.
I know.
And so it feels more genuine when she tries to do stuff like this and reaches out to you.
Plus, it's easier to relate to someone like AOC because she's so young, right? And she's so outspoken about very younger like issues and stuff for like younger voter bases and progressive issues, and she's outspoken on those things, and so it becomes a lot easier to relate to her on those things, and that's why it's so cool for her to be streaming and everyone wants to watch the damn thing. But that is true. If Joe Biden was like, hey, I'm gonna do a Twitch stream, we're gonna be streaming this game or that or the other, obviously it wouldn't feel as genuine, unless
like it's like the Animal Crossing Island thing is cool,
but
I know Joe Biden has zero to do with that.
No, not at all. But it's still an important. I think it's starting to it's a thing I've talked about a lot when as growing up, and the more I get older, about how like video games and things have been normalized a lot more. It's nowhere near as taboo as it was when we were in high school. Playing video games was like a thing you get made fun of, and now you get made fun of if you don't, right? Like everybody plays Fortnite, and that's obviously the school and life I wish I would have grew up in, because it was shunned and I could only play on weekends and nobody wanted to hang out with me and shit like that, like way back in the day. But that's a different topic. But I think this is starting to show how much more serious the world is taking gaming as like an industry, with this whole political thing happening, with people doing the islands and doing the streams, with all these metrics coming out that gaming is the most profitable entertainment industry above all else. I think this is really a testament to how the rest of the world is finally starting to take gaming seriously in the past 5-6 years. So that's something I'm really excited about. Speaking of not taking gaming seriously, though, got here. Google backs slowly away from Stadia, guys. Very bad tweet. This is from Luke Plunkett at Stadia. Earlier today, Alex Hutchison, creative director at Typhoon Studios. This is not. Why did I put at Stadia?
Yeah, I don't know why you put at Stadia.
What was the last one? What was the last one? The
Verge.
This one was like Eurogamer, I think, or something like that. Maybe it was a. No. Hold up. This was Kotaku. Yeah, this was Kotaku. I know 100%. Luke Plunkett at Kotaku. Sorry about that. Earlier today, Alex Hutchison, creative director at Typhoon Studios, bought by Google last year to make Stadia games, made a tweet suggesting that Twitch and YouTube users should be, quote, paying the developers and publishers of the games that they stream. His tweet here. Streamers worried about getting their content pulled because they use music they didn't pay for should be more worried about the fact that they're streaming games they didn't pay for as well. It's all gone as soon as publishers decide to enforce it. The real truth is the streamers should be paying the developers and publishers of the games they stream. They should be buying a license like any real business and paying for the content they use. Amazing to me that people are upset at someone saying that the creators of content should be allowed to make some of the money from other people using their content for profit. That last little bit was from a reply to his own tweet there. Back to the article. It's a very bad tweet, and he was rightly roasted for it. What's funny here is, beyond the replies, is that a tweet was so bad that Google had to issue a statement disowning it. In a statement issued to 9 to 5 Google, the company rep said, quote, the recent tweets by Alex Hutchison, creative director at the Montreal studio of Stadia Games and Entertainment, do not reflect those of Stadia, YouTube, or Google. So this broke, like, when was this? Like Thursday, Friday, something like that?
Yeah.
And man, this shit, what a bad take.
Very bad take.
There's a couple of things here that I would like to say, obviously. So in the world of digital games nowadays, when you buy a game, you are that legally, on legal terms, you are buying a license for the game. So that's already a thing. Now, it could be argued that you're just buying a license to play the game, not to stream the game, and that's whatever. But obviously here, this is completely counterintuitive to the entire foundation that Stadia is built on. Because they want this whole streamlined thing, all this Twitch integration that they have, the streaming integration to be able to play games immediately when someone starts. Oh, you see your favorite streamers in a game. You're watching him play Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and so you just click, I'm going to buy Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I'm going to jump right into the game in Stadia. This is completely counterintuitive to their whole idea of Stadia as a whole. So I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about, man.
I think the funniest thing I saw was one of the guys, or one Twitch streamer, I don't know who it was, ended up tweeting to him, was like, yeah, kind of like how you should, if you're going to, or like you should have to pay the NFL.
Yeah.
If you're going to show NFL games, on a larger screen between more than just you and your household or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I agree. That just how like that's done, it should be the same way for video games. And then that streamer was like, well, you can join me on Twitch, sponsored by the NFL.
Yeah.
Or Tuesday Night Football, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like this guy was very unaware, I think, of even the culture around Twitch.
Yeah, out of touch completely. It's like this guy just doesn't know. Like he's never seen it, and like he's just now seeing it.
And like you think the Among Us guys would be where they were if you had to pay?
Absolutely not.
To stream Among Us, you're not going to pay to stream games aren't
Among Us
already good.
Fall Guys, Phasmophobia, these games don't happen, right?
Yeah,
if Twitch doesn't exist, Phasmophobia, game from 2 years ago. People are just now hearing about it, right? Among Us, a game from 2-3 years ago, people are just now hearing about it, right?
It's like, why do you think that streamers get free keys? Why do you think they get special privileges?
Like they're not. It's not like they're not mooching or anything like that. They are building a player base for these games. They are making people play these games, and they're essentially a damn near free advertising platform for people who play games. This happened back in the day, if you remember, 2010, 2009, something like that, when Nintendo had their whole Nintendo Reckoning thing on YouTube, where they started demonetizing and taking down any Nintendo related content on YouTube if you played their games or anything like that. I don't know if you remember that event.
I do.
And so that happened way back in the day, and Nintendo got hella backlash, and they ended up like a year and a half later completely reverting that because they realized these people aren't like making loads and loads of money off of our content. And even if they are making us money, and we don't have to pay them. It's free advertising.
I think companies always make decisions like that where there's like, well, we could just make a little more money if we did it this way, and then you don't realize what you actually had going.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why Nintendo reverted it, and I think that's why this guy's an idiot.
Like it happens all the time. Like you remember when the Fine Bros tried to trademark react,
and then everyone was like, nah.
Yeah, and now look at the Fine Bros.
Yeah, on the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, and it's just it shows you that you're just a scummy person.
Yeah, a little bit of greed.
Yeah,
and I think I'm starting to have my fair share of problems with Jason Schreier over the past few months, but his reply to the tweet was quite funny. What was it? I can't even. He had a pretty interesting clip. Oh, the one where he was like, "Oh yeah, like this is great in a perfect world, but the problem is like, sure, like we do this and we cause the streamers to have to pay for these licenses, and all this ends up being is bonuses for the guy at the top of the ladder, right? Like,
yeah,
the people,
it's not like the devs are getting more money from it.
The devs aren't getting a kickback.
Yeah,
like that's not gonna happen. So yeah, that was a whole issue. Feel free to go into his replies and roast him a little bit because it's the dumbest.
It's
take.
worth visiting because there's a lot of people who are just like, "You're a dumbass."
What? Yeah, complete idiot. Hopefully he learns some stuff and learns from this and changes what he thinks. But until then, here's a first look at Tom Holland as Nathan Drake in the Uncharted movie. Jordan, if you want to bring that up there, that little Twitter thing. And Nolan North's been on set too. This is by Matt Wells at Eurogamer. There's the image there. Tom Holland, sexy guy.
He's cute.
Good looking dude. As hard as it is to believe, the long-in-the-works Uncharted movie is, after almost a decade in pre-production and 7 directors later, finally a go. And with shooting now underway, the internet has been giving a first glimpse of Tom Holland in the lead role. A movie adaptation of Naughty Dog's beloved action series was, you might recall, initially announced all the way back in 2009. Since then, 6 directors, Travis Knight, Dan Trachtenberg, Sean Levy, Seth Gordon, Neil Berger, and David O. Russell have joined and left the project, but a 7th finally stuck in the form of Zombieland and Venom director Ruben Fleischer. Fleischer's inherited cast includes Spider-Man's Tom Holland as a young Nathan Drake and Mark Wahlberg, who was originally set to play Drake in an early and rather massively ill-conceived stab at the project as his mentor Sully. Holland has, of course, been attached to the project for some time, but it's only now that we finally had a chance to see him in full costume and with the liberal application of mud for the role, courtesy of a new set photo shared today on his Instagram account. In related Uncharted news, Holland isn't the only star to have been snapped on set. None other than Nolan North, the video game voice of Nathan Drake, has shared a handful of photos of his time at the shoot, perusing a few props and hobnobbing with Holland. Does this mean we can look forward to a cameo from North in the finished film? Only time will tell. So as you can see here, yeah, the image from the set looking pretty good. Tom Holland gonna kill the role there. Yeah, you can get rid of that. They showed they haven't really showed much else, really, just that. But I think this kind of gets me a little bit excited. This set photo.
It does.
I
think so.
I'm a Tom Holland stan, right?
Me too.
I love Tom Holland. I'm a decent fan of Mark Wahlberg. I kind of like his stuff. Hopefully they keep him towards the comedic Sully side and less towards the comedic Mark Wahlberg side, because comedy Mark Wahlberg can be a little much, and I don't know if that might fit for the tone of what I want it to be, but we'll see how it goes. And also I think it's just finally good to be like, okay, this thing's finally happening, because people have been talking about this damn thing for literally 10 years.
Yeah, because you can't go back on these photos here.
No.
You can only get delayed, but like you got big names attached to this now. It's going to happen.
We're actually shooting, and the dude's kind of proven himself. I mean, Zombieland is a funny movie. Venom did well. It did well. Both of these movies did well, so he's not unqualified to direct this movie. But finally, we have some actual stuff to be like, hey, this movie's coming out. It's slated to release in July of 2021, so next year. We'll see if that's when it'll come out. COVID got everything weird, obviously, but this gets me kind of excited. Anymore. Me too. Just like we were talking about earlier in the podcast. The rest of the world is taking gaming seriously. I think this is another step in that direction of like, oh yeah, here we're getting more and more of this stuff, and hopefully it's good. Like, I genuinely hope it's good. Yeah. I don't know if I got high hopes for it, but that's just the whole video game movie thing right now. But I liked Sonic, the highest grossing movie of 2020.
Tenet hasn't passed it yet?
Nope, Tenet did not pass
Lord.
it. Well, but think about it. Tenet released
in COVID. Yeah, it makes sense.
But no, I believe Sonic the Hedgehog is slated to be the highest grossing movie of 2020.
That's PogChamp, my friend.
Hey, dude, that's a victory for gamers around the world. Wow,
I think we're on a uphill swing on gaming
movies. Yeah,
because I think more real stars and talent are willing to attach themselves to these things now.
Yeah, you got what's the Ryan Reynolds? Yeah.
Ever
Ryan
since
Reynolds.
Detective Pikachu,
Sonic, both very good movies. I like the Warcraft movie back in the day. We're starting to get more and more stuff that's real nice. So yeah. But that is it for the news this week. It was a short week. We don't really got much going on. The press got the PS5s in their hand, but there's pretty hard embargoes around that, so nobody's really said
just
a whole lot.
Of it.
So just pictures and unboxings of that.
We'll probably scale pictures.
Yeah, we'll probably get some actual info next week that we'll be able to talk about with the PS5. Obviously,
right around the corner. Bless you.
There's my sneeze right there. Yep, that was gross.
Oh,
okay.
Gross.
Ugh. Okay. But, you know, get excited for that stuff. And obviously next week I should be talking about Watch Dogs and things like that. There should be more stuff happening next week, hopefully. But until then, let's talk about this week in gaming. This is the section of the podcast where we talk about, you guessed it, this week in gaming. October 25th, you got Majora's Mask in the year 2000. That's a good game right there.
It is.
One of the only times Nintendo decided to do a sequel to their thing. And then now it seems like it may have become a trend. You know, we got Breath of the Wild 2 coming out, and I'm not giving up hope on Odyssey 2.
Did you say it might be a trend now, 20 years later?
20 years later. Yeah, because, I mean, you got Majora's Mask, Super Mario Galaxy 2, and then obviously Breath of the Wild 2. But Nintendo's notorious for not doing direct sequels to their games. But Majora's Mask direct sequel to Ocarina of Time, so that was cool. 13 years later, you got Batman Arkham Origins.
I love that game.
Yep, that's a good-ass game right there.
One of my favorites.
That's a good game. All those Batman games are all really good. Arkham Knight, not as much, but, hey, those games are crisp. Getting those Riddler trophies, just so fun. So fun. I like my favorite Riddler trophies are the ones with, like, the perspective. You know what I'm talking about? Where you got to, like, line up the question mark in the world. Yeah. Take a picture. Yeah, those are fun. October 26th, the PlayStation 2 drops in 2000.
Was there no good launch titles with it?
Nope.
Damn.
I think Resi 4 was a launch title for the thing, but it had already came out in March, so I didn't list it here.
Yeah.
Because it came out in the GameCube back in March. What else? I'm not sure. I don't remember seeing too much. There was just nothing notable.
Yeah.
In my opinion. 4 years later, you have San Andreas 2004. That's a iconic game right there.
It was a miss for me.
You what?
Like I just.
But you know
I was
San
6
Andreas,
years
right?
old. Yeah.
Okay.
But like 6-year-old me.
Everybody played San
wasn't
Andreas. You didn't play San Andreas?
No. I just
What's
didn't play GTA.
Midnight Club Dub Edition. Bro, if it ain't Midnight Club San Francisco Dub Edition,
San Francisco.
Yeah.
You need to relax. Yeah.
I don't know. Man, I like San Andreas though. 6 years later though, Fable 3 drops in 2010. We still have yet to see the sequel 10 years later, but we got an announcement of it back at the Xbox event.
Yep.
So that's exciting. Get excited for that. Fable 3 was a game I missed, but actually went back and played probably in 2017 and did not like it that much. I'm sorry to tell you. October 27th in 2003, you have the original Tony Hawk's Underground. A departure from the classic Pro Skater series, and a very good one at that, and was sequelized with a sequel that was extremely good, and a third game that wasn't a sequel, spin-off, American Wasteland, also extremely fucking good, I would say. So, hey, that's what I'm hoping for. You know, we got the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remakes. Can I get a Tony Hawk's Underground 1 and 2 remake? You know
I mean, I probably.
I want it so bad. Now, the thing does get interesting. There's a lot of characters in that game that the licensing gets weird. Bam Margera in them. Obviously, they were able to do it Pro Skater 1 and 2, but like licensing gets really weird on Tony Hawk's Underground 2. Tony Hawk's Underground 1.
They could do it.
I love those games. They could do it. They did this one. And then 2017, if y'all remember, October 27th, the big day back in the day 3 years ago, Super Mario Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Origins, and Wolfenstein: The New Colossus all launched that
same day,
October 27th.
What did you play first?
2017. I played Mario Odyssey first. Obviously, it was the only move. Origins came shortly after, and New Colossus I ended up playing in 2019. But very good game. That.
I mean, yeah, you got Odyssey. That's all I need to know.
Odyssey.
This week's goated
automatically. October 28th, keeping it goated. Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock.
That game is phenomenal.
What a good game.
You know, one of the first songs I ever downloaded on my phone
was
from the Apple Store. Yeah. Like, I paid money.
iTunes?
Was Through the Fire and Flames.
Yep.
I owned that song and maybe 4 other songs. And life was great.
What a classic. I love that game. Anytime I see that in the arcade, I gotta go in there and play that, even though I know exactly what's going to be on it. A year later, Fallout 3 drops in 2008. That is also a good ass game.
It's a goated week, man.
I know. This week is like real good. The PlayStation 2 drops and stuff. October 29th, you got Grand Theft Auto Vice City 2002. You're going to say you missed this, aren't you?
I was 4. You think I was playing GTA?
Man, I was, sir.
I was not.
Sir. And look, I turned out great.
I was playing Pokemon. Guess what I'm still playing, bro?
Pokemon. Wow, Vice City was another
every
classic.
Day, bro.
That iconic girl with the lollipop on the cover. So good, so good. Yeah, I was like a kid. I was like 6 years old. I was like, you know, my parents are going to the strip club. Going to the strip club. You're going there. Then you wouldn't throw money and they would try to kick you out. Then you'd have to start blasting.
I was catching a shiny
5 year-
Gyarados in the Lake of Rage.
The soundtrack to Vice City is very good. Very good. Assassin's Creed Black Flag drops 11 years later on October 29th. That is also a pretty good game. A game I only played a little bit of, but I played the entirety of the standalone DLC, Freedom Cry, which
should have played the whole game,
really
bro.
liked a lot. Yep, it is good, though. October 30th, a day later, Assassin's Creed 3 2012. Not as goated, no, but this
Still
is
good.
The week of Assassin's Creed. I mean, last week we talked about Syndicate on the final day, so it looks like this seems to be a really good window for Assassin's Creed. But which, I mean, hey, we're about to get Valhalla, so this is their week. And then October 31st, I didn't really see.
There's no good Halloween game.
Yeah, nothing really of note. I mean, there's Luigi Mansion 3, but that was only a year ago, so I didn't really feel like that was worth putting in. There wasn't really
just shocked.
really nothing. Yeah.
You're telling me
nothing
like
really.
FNAF didn't come out on Halloween?
Nope. Did not. At least not according to GameFAQs. And you know they can be wrong. So
they are infallible.
They are very fallible. Not infallible. Did you say infallible?
Yeah. And I mean it.
Oh, they're fallible as hell. That is it for this week in gaming. This next section of the podcast, reader mail. Obviously, you know what reader mail is. We read
what is
mail.
It? Oh.
The mail that you send in to synceduppod@gmail.com.
Or physically at.
No, we're not doing that. synceduppod@gmail.com, just like Kylie Arter did. And she has a simple question.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name the top 5 most disappointing games of the year? Thanks, Kylie Arter.
I don't know if I can name 5.
I don't know if I can name 5 either.
But I can give you an easy one.
Right,
NSR.
No Straight Roads. That
was a big disappointment.
Let me... Hopefully this doesn't interfere. Let me bring up my GG app real quick.
But that's the biggest one for me.
Let me check GG app. Let me go. These games played in 2020.
Nothing I think was super.
So Darksiders Genesis, not good. Mortal Shell was okay.
I think Hyperscape was a little disappointing.
Hyperscape was very disappointing in my personal opinion. Torchlight 2 was not good in my personal opinion.
That's not other year.
No, that didn't come out this year. I'm trying to scroll through. Obviously, I played games that didn't come out this. Greedfall, that was a disappointment. What did not live up to what I thought it would be.
I forgot that game came out.
It did. It came out. It's a game. They came out.
Final Fantasy VII
Kentucky
Remake.
Route Zero. Kentucky Route Zero wasn't as good as I wanted it to be.
Really?
Yeah, really wasn't.
Fall Guys is great.
Did you say Final Fantasy VII Remake? Do I need to swing? Fall Guys is good. Paper Mario and the Origami King. I know you disagree with me on this one.
I do disagree with you.
But this one was disappointing to me. There it is. No Straight Roads. Not good, man.
Yeah. So disappointing, man.
I wanted it to be good so bad. So bad. Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. That game did not live up to the hype that was presented to me personally. Jordan cracking his knuckles over there. One of his favorite games of all time. Baldurs Gate 3 wasn't as good as I thought it would be, but obviously it's real early access, so we can't really talk about that. You want to talk about a game that delivered? Blazeball.
Blazeball is
phenomenal.
Might be.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Disappointing.
What else you got? What else you got for disappointing
games? For me, I don't know. I didn't play a whole lot of games that you didn't play.
Tim. I think I played that this year.
I didn't play Tim.
That was not good. Did I play that? Did I play that this year?
It might have been this year.
And it's not on my list.
Let me think here. The Xenoblades were great. 3D All Stars is great. There's nothing that was really super disappointing to me besides NSR.
Oh, no,
NSR was the big one. Which one? The mix game? Oh, Pokemon Cafe Mix. For it to have been disappointing, I had to have had high standards for it, and I had low standards.
Very low.
I wasn't disappointed when I started playing. I was like, exactly what I expected.
For a free mobile game with the Pokemon franchise.
What else came out? Pokemon Mystery Dungeon might have come out this year. That was good. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't disappointed by that. I can't think of anything. I might be able to look at my Switch catalog.
It's low-key been a banger year though. Let's be honest. It's been a pretty good year.
NSR was really the big one.
Yeah, NSR was so disappointing. That really hurt me and you playing that. Mm-hmm. The whole camera thing was like, man, this is unplayable pretty much.
I will say that Pokemon Sword and Shield were disappointing, but for specific reasons. Overall, the game...
No, that was last year that came out.
It came out last year, but I think it's still within a year. Yeah. It might be. I think because usually those games come out in November.
Yeah, that game is disappointing for me.
Yeah, it will... I think it was disappointing for those specific reasons with the decks being weird and all kinds of stuff.
I get Let's Go Togepi. Let's Go Trico.
You're not gonna get Let's Go Trico for a while.
I know, but I want it.
Let's Go Cubone. You're not getting that either. You're getting Let's Go Pichu and Let's Go Meryl.
Yeah, 100%.
Or Let's Go Togepi and Let's Go Pichu. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. That's it. There you go, Kylie.
Hasn't been that disappointing.
Interesting that Kylie just came out and listened to her own question read, but in person.
She'll listen again.
She will. She supports us. This next section of the podcast, the WYBP, the What You've Been Playing section of the podcast.
WYBP.
This is the section of the podcast where we do our WYBP.
I was thinking more like a radio station.
WYBP.
105.1
Welcome
WYBP.
Yeah. Wow, that's funny. So I played the Warzone Halloween update, which I
the way you said, "Wow, that's funny."
Get off me, bro.
Like, I don't know if you were being genuine or if that was sarcasm.
I was being
like,
genuine.
Wow, that's funny.
I was being genuine. Warzone Halloween update. I played that. Man, that's cool shit right there. That is how you do a Halloween update. If you have Warzone, which everyone should, it's free. Although I will say, fat ass file size. So if you don't have Warzone, I'm not judging. Okay, but I re-downloaded it. I've been playing the Halloween update a little bit. The zombies mode, they've completely reworked the mode, the classic battle royale mode with this new mechanic where you respawn as a zombie and stuff. And there's all these jump scares and ghosts and blood, and it's super cool. Like
spooky.
You can play with. There's a Saw guy and the Micah Myers and stuff are in. Like it's so cool. Like
That's
it really
cool.
is a really good Halloween update. So if you have Modern Warfare or you have Warzone, I would advise at least trying out the zombies mode with your friends because it adds a super interesting mechanic of coming back as a zombie and being able to kill humans and come back as a human again. And really the last team to win is the last team with a human alive wins. Super interesting and cool. Another game that I have played was Doom Eternal. I actually played a couple hours of that yesterday. That's actually a fun game, man. The gameplay of Doom Eternal is really just crisp. I know this campaign is really short, so I probably wouldn't recommend someone buy this, but if you have Game Pass, you might as well try this shit out. And I do like Doom multiplayer. I'm a person who likes that, so when I try that out, I'll have more to say there, so I haven't got to play that at all. Oh, man, that was a weird burp. I will say that the soundtrack is obviously a standout here.
Yep.
Banging the rock and all the rock and the riffs and all that coming in is really tight. I really enjoy that, and the gunplay really is just crisp. I played a little bit of the Minecraft Dungeons DLC. I played a level of that. As you can see, it's the week of playing random shit until stuff starts coming out. So we just played one level, so I didn't get to see a whole lot. And that game still just as fun as it was back in the day. Just as fun as it was. I've also played Rogue Company, which has been out for a while, obviously. Free-to-play 4v4 hero shooter that I shat on for a while, and then I played it and realized it was real good. And we've been playing it a lot. We've been getting four-mans going, me, Jordan, Chance, and Isaiah going in there. Honestly, going hard. Like, actually, today we performed quite shit. We played about 4 or 5 games and lost 4 out of the 5 or 3 out of the 4. I can't remember. But, like, yesterday and the day before that, we was going in. Like, we was just unstoppable. It was unreal, and I pretty much played like 3 or 4 games of it, and then immediately bought the Founders Pass. I was like, "Oh yeah, this game is good," and I got to show support here, even though it's free. And also, there was a specific character that I wanted to play, which once I started playing them, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is my play style right here." So that was perfect. You go ahead, because I'll talk about Blazeball once you've done your thing.
Yeah, I really got in that because I pretty much that week I was sick. I played a lot of Hades, and I think I did probably 20 runs.
Yep.
And so I'm at 7 wins.
3 to go.
3 more to go to get to the end of the story, I guess. And that game might possibly be my game of the year.
It is an incredible game. I will stand by that.
It is so much deeper, and I didn't know about the heat system till I got to it.
Yeah, the heat system is nice,
and it just makes the game have so much more life to it.
Being able to like make bosses be different and shit.
Yeah, and just you make the game, you get to customize the game at a certain point. It's just so nice. And the characters, the way the dialogue never really feels dry at all. It's always evolving. Yeah,
you always feel like there's some story happening. Even though like it's just like a random throwaway run that maybe all you do is grab fated choices and just look for gems, keys, and darkness, right? Yeah. Even that shit, there's still something going on, whether you talk to the guy rolling the boulder up the hill forever or the old girl who's in love with Orpheus or whatever. Like there always is something that happens. And even when you finish it, you can always you come back, and if you didn't talk to anyone during the run, you still talk to everybody outside of the run, and maybe you grab some nectar to give to somebody to advance some dialogue and shit. It's just so cool. Yeah, it like really is that good.
There's I just can't really find anything to complain on the game. The voice
Damn near
acting is
perfect
great.
game.
The music's great. You know, the boon system's
Yep.
great.
I watched a hour and 15-minute breakdown of Supergiant's games, going from Bastion to Transistor to Pyre to Hades. It was a very good video. I can't think of the title of it. Otherwise, I would shout it out right now. I'm sure you could find it on the internet. But it was like a full critical breakdown of all 4 of those games. And I think I agree with the guy who was doing it in the end, where he talked about that Supergiant really has just learned so many things along the way and combined all of the bad parts from Transistor and Bastion and Pyre, figured out what they did wrong with those games, got rid of them, completely fixed them, and piled them all together in this compiled perfect game that is Hades. It really has come together, and it has all the best parts of all of the games. The really cool, the really good pastel art style of Bastion is in there. The crazy art style, the good story and dialogue between all of the characters is there from Pyre, and the good and responsive gameplay from Transistor, even though it's not the same, is there. It's good, and it's responsive gameplay, and it's really crisp. And then all the bad parts from those games, the lack of voice acting and stuff like that, they completely got rid of, and they fixed here in Hades. And I think it's a testament to how far indie gaming has come compared to where it was 15 years ago.
Because when I look at my biggest games of the year, right, like Final Fantasy VII was probably my number one before I played Hades. I had qualms with Final Fantasy. There was things I didn't like. There was, I just can't find them in Hades.
Yeah,
there's
nothing, man.
It's so great. I love that game so much.
It gets stale after 70 hours.
But I'm still finding like new combos and stuff. That I showed you that run where I got my cast and I upgraded it in very specific ways, and then I got this combo thing, and I was just shredding everything.
There's always something to do, and every run feels different, holistically different compared to the last run. So.
And then when you start, I didn't realize that your sword had 3 different forms, and so they're all 3 different, completely different playstyles.
Playstyles with different
special
moves.
There's like 18 weapons. It's so good, because when I think of a game like Dead Souls, which I thought was good,
it's a very good game.
So much worse than Hades. It just doesn't even compare.
Yeah, I think Hades really fixes all the problems that people who hate roguelikes have with roguelikes. Completely fixes those issues. A lot of the losing all progress, that's alleviated here. A lot of roguelikes do things where you have permanent progression, but it really feels very prominent here. Like you are actually having serious permanent progression. By run 20, you will feel way more powerful than you did at run 0.
Yeah, it is very difficult for you to not eventually succeed.
And the story here is incredible. Yeah, compared to
I love every time I get to the surface and I get a piece of the puzzle, because the story can't be that complicated. Yeah, but you're still getting just drip fed it. Yeah. At the main storyline.
And I think I think everything is, the pacing is incredible, the gameplay is incredible. There's a lot of good things that can be said about it.
And it's a game that I want more of. I want either a DLC, I want Hades 2, whatever that would be. I want more. Well, and I think it's just
Supergiant's sitting on their pile of cash right now. So
Supergiant will be rewarded greatly for this game, and I hope they continue to do well.
I'm calling it now. I think there's some big publishers knocking at their door right now. I would have to.
Do you think Microsoft? I know without a doubt Microsoft is gonna try and buy them. Do you think Supergiant gets picked up?
Maybe. I think it's a very solid possibility. Just thinking about Bastion, Transistor, Pyre, and Hades all being put onto fucking Game Pass is crazy, and that would be an incredible get in this year of incredible gets by Microsoft. So I really think it's possible that they get bought up.
Because I'm trying to wonder what Supergiant's like. Oh man, we still can't fund our dream game. Like, there's no way they have that problem.
They got the cash.
Especially, and if this wasn't the dream game, like,
what is?
You definitely do have the resources to do it now. Yeah. So, I'm not too worried about their future. If they don't get picked up, if they do,
they're a legendary studio. They do deserve it.
Yeah, they're goated. And then also, I started the Pokemon DLC. That game, if it had the DLCs at launch, is an amazing Pokemon game. Yeah. The each time they've had the DLC, it added new mechanics, and especially this time, it gives the game so much more life and depth, and it just feels like the first game was rushed. Yeah. It's just disappointing because it's Pokemon. It should have it's like the biggest IP in the world.
Yeah.
Right? How do you not have the best game ever?
Yeah. How have you not done?
I talked to Trey about it a little
the
bit.
MMO yet? Or
Why
anything?
do the trees look like trash?
The trees do look like trash. Why
To
is there
me,
so much
it's
popping?
okay. I don't care that much about it. But why?
Why is there so much popping? Why
Yeah.
is there this, that, and the other? Yeah, there's a lot of issues. It feels lazy. And frankly, I think a lot of it is lazy.
I will say though, in respect to just talking about the DLC, it's really good DLC. I would much rather have this happen every Pokemon game than get Sword and Shield 2.
Yeah, like some
where it's
shitty,
the same game and it's just a little different.
Yeah, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Yeah. I hate that. I'll
That's how
play
they do
them,
it,
but
man.
it's like
that's how they do it, and you're gonna buy them
this
every
actually
time.
felt like because and then when you get those sequels, you're starting over again most of the time. I'm not starting over. I get to take my team that I use through Shield,
Into
and I
the
get
next
to
thing.
I get to do a new adventure.
Do new
get to
stuff.
new which has always been like the Pokemon thing is to like transfer your Pokemon over, but you usually have to wait till after you beat a game to do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, really good. I think there's always going to be a stigma behind like, doing DLC like the way they did it.
Yeah.
Especially with the Pokédex stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's a whole ordeal.
I think the DLC is good. It's pretty much just all legendaries.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they added enough new legendaries for it to be good, and then being able to go and catch all the old ones. There'll be a lot of content for me to explore there.
Yeah.
And
did you stream today legendary hunting?
Mm-hmm. It's good. I enjoy it.
That's what I like to hear.
It's just it should be the best game.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be.
That's what you think.
It shouldn't be one of the disappointing ones.
Yep.
It should be the best game.
Mm-hmm.
But
and that's it for the games that we've been playing this week.
Nintendo.
Hold up, wait, never mind. No, it isn't. We actually been playing one more game this week. Let's spend the next 10 minutes talking about Blaseball. So Blazeball, Jordan taking the headphones off. So Blazeball, if you didn't know, is a internet baseball simulator game. Okay, that sounds terrible. A lot of people, I hate sports for the most part.
I love sports.
I like watching basketball playoffs. I like watching football games when my friends are invested. But other than that, I don't give a damn about sports. I don't want to watch baseball. I hate baseball. It's boring. I hate football. It sucks. Okay, I'm sorry. These are hot takes, but probably not to anyone who's watching.
Not the baseball one.
And so the fact that I like this it should blow you away. But that's because Blaseball is so much more than just a baseball simulator.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have any interest in this whatsoever after I'm done talking about it, go to blazeball.com. That's baseball with the L after the B. Blazeball.com. You can sign up. It's free. Right now we're in a grand siesta. It's going to be a little bit. I'll explain what that means in a second. It's going to be a little bit before the game gets back in the groove. They're coming out with some updates. There's some stuff coming to the game, so we're currently on like a break right now. But the entire gist of Blaseball is Monday through Friday. There is 99 days, which are 99 specific hours, where these 24 different Blaseball teams compete against each other to just play games of Blaseball, right? But there's all this cool shit incorporated where there's all these weird rules that don't make any sense and all this community-driven content that really completely changed the way that Blaseball is played between characters that have hot dogs for fingers and other things like that. Blaseball really is this. It's magical. I mean, I think that's the easiest way I can describe it, and we have all been completely enraptured by it.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, Chance, Isaiah, everyone in my friend group, everyone pretty much in my immediate friend group has been completely and overwhelmingly taken over by Blaseball. And that's because it's just so fun. Like, to go to just the gameplay of the game, what you do is you try to make money. You pick a favorite team when you first start playing. You bet on that team when they play a game every hour. You try to win those bets. You bet on every team. You have odds. This team is projected to win. This team is projected to win. And you just bet on who you think will win what. Mm-hmm. And you do that there. There's upgrades that you can get in the shop where you can upgrade your income, passive income, so income you're going to be making overnight, income like that. You can increase all of that stuff. That's a cute jacket, by the way. And that's really the gist of the game. But I think where the game really shines is in if you join the Discord and you follow some of the Twitter accounts and you start to really get invested in these teams, because these teams are made up of just these characters that the fans have made the art for, that the fans have come up with, and they have all these weird arbitrary stats that don't make any sense. Like, for example, like some of the characters are honey roasted. What does that mean? Nobody knows, and that's part of the mystery, right? There's all this crazy stuff that people don't understand. Like, for example, this season, at the end of every season, you have a playoff series. Whoever wins the playoffs, something happens. It's cool, whatever. But after the playoffs, there's an election, and you vote on things that will completely change the way the game of Blaseball is played. Completely change the rules, completely change different things. There's also this thing that'll get your team blessings where they'll have buffs. For example, the Hellbeams, the team that won the playoffs this year, had some of the best buffs in the damn league, where they needed only 3 balls to walk instead of 4. They needed 4 strikes to strike out instead of 3. And if they walked, they had a chance to walk extra bases. For example, instead of just walking to first, they could walk all the way to damn third and clinch out a victory against your team. And it hurt a lot, like it did to me. And that happened there. But their blessings this season, nobody knows what they do. The Hades Tigers, my team, we got the devil. What does that mean? No one knows. No one has any idea. And that's part of the whole mystery. And there's a lot more that I could talk about this game for an hour and a half. I
was going to say that to sum it up, the reason I love the game so much is because it's a big and never-ending cycle of the community bouncing off the developers and developers bouncing off the community. And it feels like it's a team project instead of just the developers deciding all this stuff. Exactly. And you're like, okay, this is the new concept for the week. Okay.
The primest example of that comes in the mock trial that is happening next week. So there is this mechanic in Blazeball called Eat the Rich, where at the end of the season, the top 1% of players have all of their wealth removed and distributed evenly among the bottom 99% of the players. Someone in the community looked at how much they got last season and looked at projected stats that they had been keeping track of over the past 11 seasons, which a season is just in a week, and decided that it didn't look like we got as much as we should have. So they wrote up an entire 55-page legal document, and they had some people who were in the community that were actual lawyers to make sure the legal jargon was correct, and they presented this lawsuit against the person who runs the game, and that person responded, and they are holding a mock trial next week to determine the outcome of whether or not we got enough money in the Eat the Rich. So if you would have booted up the game today, you would have noticed there was a little notification that everyone got that said the current season's Eat the Rich is suspended due to pending litigation. And that is just I think that's the easiest way to put it, is that it's so community driven, and it's really the coolest shit, and it's charming, and it's magical, and it really feels like a lot of people are coming together to just enjoy this weird, arbitrary, crazy thing on the internet, and I'm loving it. I'm about to buy merch, which all the merch is fan made and gets donated to charity. A lot of cool shit like that. There's a band that has been endorsed by the entire community because they have the same name as one of the teams, and now that band has acknowledged this acknowledgement, and their Bandcamp is linked on the website, and there's a permanent area where you can view their stream. It's the coolest shit. It really is the coolest thing. And if you have any interest in it at all, if you're interested in community driven things, I highly encourage you to view Baseball. There is a YouTube video by the account on YouTube, People Play Games, or People Make Games maybe, hosted by Quinns, called What is Blaseball and Why is it Taking Over the Internet? And he does a much better job in 9.5 minutes summing up Blaseball, what it is, and why you should play it. And I think if you have any interest in it, go view that video. Just go ahead and look that up. And that's Blaseball. And I'm going to continue to play Blaseball until I get tired of it. And right now I don't foresee myself doing that. And it's passive.
We get a break.
Yeah, we got a break right now. And you don't have to. That's one of those games you don't have to view all the time. It's just in your browser. You bring it up on your phone's web browser or your computer's web browser and just do stuff every hour if you want, or every day or every other day. It doesn't really matter.
Takes zero effort.
Really no effort. And it's just so cool. Watching the text boxes of those games on the edge of your seat, hoping players don't hit home runs or triples or whatever it is that they're going to hit, and they end up hitting a home run and scoring some points and doing some shit, and it really hurts your feelings because you thought your team was going to take the whole thing, but you got beat by the best team in the league. But you really hoped, you really hoped. That's Blaseball. So, yeah, there you go. If you have any interest, look into that video, look into Blaseball, do all that stuff. But that is the podcast this week. Sorry for the short news section, but I think we more than made up for it on the extra parts of the podcast. Again, you find us on YouTube, youtube.com/synceduppodcast. Find us on your favorite podcasting services by searching Synced Up Pod. New episodes, 7 a.m. Central Time Zone Gang. Follow us on Twitter at Synced Up Pod, at Timmy the Duro, at The Coast is Claire. If you want to keep up to date with our specific channel and our specific things that we got going on, as you can see by the lower thirds there. And yeah, that's it. Write in if you want to write in, all that stuff, all that jazz. Review, rate the show, like it, share it with your friends, subscribe, notification bell, do all the stuff. As much as every person on YouTube and shit talks about these things, and it probably gets annoying, it actually does help a lot, more than you know, especially for people like us that are so or on the bottom of the totem pole. So anyway, thank you very much, and we love you.